Hey everyone, and welcome back. It's Julianne here for Hedgehog Hollow, and today I'm going to be sharing how I created these two butterfly cards using some of the new items in the June 2020 box. For my cards today, I'm going to be using the Geo Zoo, as well as the Kind add-on stamp sets, as well as some of the pattern paper that's included in this box as well. This box does include 12 sheets of double-sided pattern paper, but for my cards today, I'm only going to be using 2 of those sheets. So let's just jump right on in and get started. To start out both of my cards today, I'm going to be stamping the butterfly image that's found in the Geo Zoo stamp set, and I'm going to be stamping them both using some VersaFine Onyx Black ink onto some Bristol Smooth watercolor paper, since I do plan on doing some watercoloring today. Since I am making 2 cards, I'm going to stamp this image twice, and then I'm going to move on to my heat embossing, and I'm going to be heat embossing both of them using some clear embossing powder, and that's going to give both of my images that really nice raised embossed edge that I love so much. Once I have both of my images covered in my embossing powder, I'm just going to move on to embossing them using my heat tool. And I've just had that off to the side heating up for about 20 to 30 seconds. That way it's good and hot before I bring it to my cardstock. For my watercoloring today, I am going to be using my Caron Brush Marker Pros, and I'm going to be using quite a few different colors to color in both of my butterflies, including canary, rose pink, cool aqua, ocean teal, apple, and red lilac. And I will be bringing in some additional red shades for one of my butterflies, as well as using the warm grays for their bodies. Once I have all of my colors picked out, I'm just going to be doing some super easy and fast watercoloring today. And I'm going to start with the color Canary, and I'm just going to be adding in a little bit of that color into some of the areas of the butterfly. And then I'm going to be coming in with my blender pen to really blend out that color. And I'm just going to continue that same process with each of my colors until I have both of my butterflies colored in. Once I have both of my butterflies all colored in and ready to go, I'm going to start working on assembling the rest of my cards for today. Off camera, I did trim down 2 pieces of that pattern paper that you can find in this month's box, and I trimmed them both down to 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, which is A2 size. And next I'm going to start creating windows for both of my butterflies. And for that, I'm going to be temporarily adhering down a circle die using some washi tape to both of my pattern papers right at the top. And I'm going to be running those both through my die cutting machine. Now, if you choose to recreate these cards, you could definitely use any circle die that you have offhand, or you could even choose to do a different shape. Once I run both of those pattern papers through my die cutting machine, you can start to see how both of these cards are going to come together. I really love how both of my pattern papers are black and white, and then I have my bright and colorful butterflies right in the center. Before I adhere anything, I'm going to start working on my sentiments for both of my cards today. And for that, I'm going to be using the Kind add-on sentiment stamp set that's included in this month's box. And I'm going to be stamping both sentiments using some VersaFine Onyx Black ink. I'm going to be working on positioning each sentiment so that I can stamp it on that Bristol watercolor paper that both of my butterflies are on, and to make it still be able to show through that circle window. And for that, I'm going to be using my pattern paper to line up both of my sentiments, and then I'm going to remove it before I start my stamping. To make sure I only stamp the part of the sentiment that I want for each of my cards, I'm just going to be using a sticky note to mask off what I don't want to stamp, and then I'll remove it before bringing my MISTI door down and stamping the sentiment. And I'm just going to repeat this process for both of my cards before moving on. Once I have both of my sentiments stamped out and ready to go, I'm going to start working on adhering both of my cards today. To start out, I'm going to be adding some liquid adhesive to the back of my pattern paper, right around that circle window, so that way I can adhere my butterfly in the center of each of my cards. And then using that same liquid adhesive, I'm going to adhere my pattern paper to my card base. Once I have both of those adhered, it's now time for me to complete my sentiment on each one of my cards. So the sentiments that I stamped came from the stamp set, the Kind add-on, and there is an additional stamp set in this month's box that does have the Kind word, so both of those stamp sets can coordinate. But for my cards today, I decided to use some alphabet dies to die cut out my word Kind, using both black cardstock as well as some black glitter cardstock. And I'm just going to be adhering all 3 layers that I've die cut out, which is going to give my sentiment a little bit of added dimension for both of my cards today. Once I have all of my die cut letters adhered together, using a T ruler, I'm going to line them up onto my pattern paper, and using that same liquid adhesive, I'm going to adhere them to my card. Once I have each letter adhered, the last step for both of my cards today is I'm going to be scattering some black sequins throughout each card. And once I have those sequins adhered, that's going to complete my cards for today. I want to thank you all for stopping by and spending some time with me. If you liked this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, as well as subscribe for more card making ideas. And if you are interested in any of the supplies I used, they will all be listed and linked down below in the description. And as always, I hope you have a wonderful day and happy crafting!